Well, hello there. Think of this as a sort of prologue to the video that's coming up. Uh, what I did when I was editing it, I discovered that I'd missed out a section, which I'm just about to put in. But also I thought I'd just do a little prologue to it as well. I said the missing section is I'm talking about the separate stories within the book, and I forgot one of them. So that I'm just about 2 seconds to record it and take me 2 seconds. But I thought I could do a prologue. Do you know when you get a film and they do about 10 minutes worth of information beforehand that you totally forget? That's what this is. So basically, this video is a bit of an experiment. It's far more editing than I would ever do. And I just wanted to see what would happen if me doing a slightly scripted video. Some of my speech, I think, is a bit too fast and what have you, but I said I'd just be interested to see what people think about it. My plan is never to really do huge amounts of these. There might be one occasionally that I script if this works out, or ones because I quite like the fact of just talking and not having lots of post-processing to do because I just haven't got the time. But as I said, it's a bit of an experiment. As I said, there's quite a few edits and stuff in there, and I've tried to make it as sleek as I possibly can for the limited experience I have doing this. And I said there could be some ones in the future, but I said most of my content is still always going to be sort of vaguely unscripted stuff. So I hope you enjoy it, and I said you will notice that there will be a little drop-in of me sat here doing a short section in a minute. Well, in a minute, about halfway through the video. And thank you all for watching. Hello, my name is Duncan, and welcome to Bath Books, or Back Away from the Donkey. This is where I just sort of talk about books I love and am interested in. And so today I'm doing a video that's more scripted than ones I normally do, because normally it's just me talking, rambling off the cuff. So as it's been a bit scripted, there'll probably be some editing within it, but hopefully it'll work out quite nicely. Stories based around a dying Earth have been written and talked about throughout the history of science fiction and fantasy. Not only is it just a great metaphorical device, but there's really quite an intriguing setting. Jack Vance's Dying Earth series are like the pinnacles of the subgenre, and they've inspired many writers following them, from the likes of Gene Wolfe through to M. John Harrison, and even the development of Dungeons & Dragons with Gary Gygax. I am a huge fan of Gene Wolfe, and the Book of the New Sun is, to me, a masterpiece. Gene Wolfe on many occasions said that The Dying Earth by Jack Vance greatly inspired him. So it's just very unbelievable the fact that I've only just come around to actually reading The Dying Earth. Most modern publications of the Dying Earth books publish them as an omnibus edition. Fantasy Masterworks do one. I am, though, going to look at the books as separate entities, because I think they're very, very distinct, even though they're part of the same series and all set in the same area. So the first book, The Dying Earth, was published in 1950. It's a loose collection of short stories, episodic in nature, and Jack Vance wrote them when he was in the Merchant Marines from about 1943 onwards. Just a little fun fact for you: when he joined the Merchant Marines, his eyesight was so poor that he shouldn't have passed and got in there. So what he did was he actually memorised the eye chart. I said just a little bit of fun fact for you to add to this. So let's get on and talk about the sort of setting and the characterization of the book. The story is set, unsurprisingly, on a dying Earth. The Earth's sun is dimming, so it's like red in nature. The moon has gone, and everything is in decay. Civilization has gone. There's like pockets of it around, and also like magic has come to the forefront. There's like, feels like detritus surrounds everything. As I said, it's decaying. There's a big melancholy air, but it's almost sort of the stories feel sort of fairy tale like in nature. I was surprised when I read it how sort of fairy tale like they do. I think Jack Vance's prose helps because it's like grandiose. It's quite archaic in nature. This all helps to sort of put you gently into the world. The world is full of wizards, demons, rogues, all these strange races. But it's not these characterizations that make it. It is, in fact, the actual world and the background of it. There's a word I'm going to use I hate normally, that people seem to throw around a lot, and that's world building. But the world building in this is absolutely stunning, and it just all helps bring you directly into the stories. But not only is like the world building excellent, it's the way it acts as almost a character within the stories. You can feel the decay, you can feel like the denseness of it sort of bearing down as you're reading the stories. So the book contains, I said, the first book, The Dying Earth, contains 6 stories. As I said, they're all short stories. They're episodic in nature, and you've got some characters that differ between them. So I'm just going to give you like a brief synopsis of some of the stories. There's some names here that I find, when you read them in your head, they're fine. But when you start trying to pronounce them, it's like, okay. It's a bit like some of Tolkien's names. Similar sort of thing. You have they read perfectly in your head, but when you hear them pronounced, you think, okay, is that how you say it? So anyway, let's do a sum up of the stories for you. The first story is Turjan and Mir, and it's about the wizard Turjan who's trying to create artificial life. And what he does, he goes to the wizard Pendulum or Pandaloom to ask for the secret. And in order to gain the secret, Pendulum sends him on a quest. So pretty standard sort of fancy fare. The whole story is quite a straightforward one, but what brings you in is like the environment and the world, and that slowly pulls you in. That, along with the prose, the archaic, grandiose, over-the-top prose, you slowly sort of get sort of the rhythm, the meter of it, and it just slowly pulls you into the world that is the Dying Earth. The second story is Mazarian the Magician. Mazarian also wants a secret to artificial life, and he then goes to Turjan to try and get this secret. But he's also obsessed with Tassain, who's the artificial life that Turjan created. And it's another story that sort of brings you all in and produces a lot more strange creatures within the world. But what's really entertaining is Mazarian's pursuit of Tassain, and it really is worth it towards the end of the story. So this is a drop in from them because I forgot to do this one. And this is about the third story, which is just a short roundup. And the story is called Tassace, or to say, I'm not sure, as I said, I'm not sure how you pronounce all this. And she basically comes down to Earth in search of beauty. And it's her search and her quest for beauty. It's an almost fairy tale-like feel to the whole story. And the ending is well worth it. So I don't really want to go into any more detail than that. But I said it's like a quest for beauty in search of what is beautiful. And I said, as with all of these stories, they're incredibly detailed, and the background is stunning, and all the little nuggets that Jack Vance puts into the background are just sort of grip onto you. Anyway, so now back to the previously scheduled program, and I will speak to you all soon. The third story is Leanne the Wayfarer, and we met Leanne in an earlier story, but in this story he's trying to win the hand of the witch Lith, and so he's sent on a quest to get a tapestry from Chun the Unavoidable. What a great name, Chun the Unavoidable. This story, I believe the characters feel a bit more three-dimensional than some of the other stories. It's probably one of his best developed ones, but keep an eye out for the cloak covered in eyeballs. That's what I say about this one, because it is gruesome. This next story is called Ulan Dor. Ulan Dor is the nephew of Prince Candide, and he's travelling to an ancient city. And in this story, we get lots of feeling of past civilizations that are crumbling. So Ulan Dor, he ends up in this city that he's investigating, and you get two factions of people in green and grey, but they can't see each other. This story has one of the most of sort of the backgrounds of, as I said, past civilizations, previous technology, and it is one of the most sort of quite intriguing in that way. The final story is Gael of Sophia. I think that's how you pronounce it. Gael, his father gets so fed up with him questioning, saying about history and what have you, he gets sent in search of the Museum of Man in order to ask the curator to answer all his questions. And in this one, Gael travels through lands, and it's a story almost about remembering the past but not worshipping, and it's quite a rounded story, and it rounds off the book, this first book, in a really, really nice sort of way, and the ending is well worth it for this book, this story as well. So in summation, the sort of stories feel like, as I said, fairy tales or mythology of some ancient culture that we're just sort of dipping into. And the archaic prose all helps with that. I also love the way that the episodic nature of the stories link, and you can find things out by character. Like Leanne the Wayfarer, in one story, he sort of has a little bit part in it, and he's an absolute bastard. But in a later story, we then find out his fate, which is really well worth waiting for. don't think these stories will be everybody. Vance's sort of archaic prose that he uses throughout the stories could put some people off, but they are, to me, this first book is well worth the effort. Next, I'm going to look at the second book in the series, and hopefully I'll get that video out in the next few weeks. So, thank you for watching my first sort of scripted video, and hopefully it's come out okay. And I will speak to you all very soon. Bye-bye. That's as good as you're going to get.